honest, a lot of people get stuck when they are creating their Pinterest strategies because they feel like they need to create everything from scratch. But what if creating everything from scratch isn't necessarily what you need to do? What if curation on Pinterest is actually your next growth move? Whether you're running an online e-commerce store or you're a content creator, a course seller, a digital product seller, whatever you are, it can feel weird to pin other people's content. I get it. You have this feeling creep into your subconscious that's like, if you pin other people's content, you're gonna drive traffic to their websites and it's gonna look like you don't care about your own brand. I get it. Honestly, I get it. I get the fear. But when done right, curation can actually complement your brand and does not need to compete with it. So that's what we're gonna dive into in today's video, which is brought to you in partnership with Pinterest. Thanks, Pinterest. Let's define curation versus creation. Now, for the sake of today's video, even though it's brought to you in partnership with Pinterest, they don't control what I say. So in this first section, we are going to define the terms of curation and creation. And we're gonna stick to my terms and my definitions because it's my channel, okay? And you're in my audience, and I don't want you confused. So that's what we're going for, all right? I promise I'm not holding up to your head, I promise, okay? So here we go. Creation is the creation of content in whatever design software that you desire to use, and publishing to Pinterest, then linking back to your own website. That is, in my definition, creation. It can be blogs, it can be YouTube videos, it can be podcasts, it could be products, it could be your service page, your portfolio, it could be affiliate links, it doesn't matter. You are intentionally creating Pinterest pins, putting them on Pinterest, and directing them back to your domain, your affiliate links, whatever it is. Now, curation, on the other hand, is a bit of a muddy topic in a lot of people's content. Honestly, it's a little confusing when other people talk about this, which is why I want to go with my super simplified definition of curation. Okay? In my opinion, curation is when you selectively curate high value, high quality content on Pinterest or off Pinterest to Pinterest. And because this is the 12th take of trying to tell you exactly what curation is, I'm gonna read from my outline so we can get this process on the road. Curation is intentionally gathering existing content that aligns with your brand and your audience's needs. Okay? Existing content. Now here's where it gets a little muddy. Sometimes Pinterest likes to say you can curate your own content to your boards. And in a way, yeah, you are doing that. But when I talk about curation, I specifically mean curating other people's content to your own boards. Are you with me? Great. Now let's talk about why Pinterest is a curation-based platform too. Number one, Pinterest is not social media. It's a visual search engine, and because of that visual component, it makes it something that is super curated. Whether you are curating for yourself or curating for your audience, so curating for yourself on a personal profile or curating for your audience on your business profile, it just works. That's why Pinterest was created, to bring together all of these ideas in one place. Number two, people like to collect really high value content and ideas and products, things that they want to come back to later because they're planning their lives and they are trying to create something that is meaningful for them offline. But online, they're curating all of these things on their own Pinterest boards, right? You hear me saying this word curating. I want to drill it into your head. But here's the thing, Pinterest also says that their platform is a curation-based platform. So my take on individual pins floating in isolation, obviously when we create boards and we pin our own content to those boards, those pins are not floating in isolation. they are floating inside of a well-optimized board if you are following my advice. However, if you are just throwing a pin out here and there and you're putting random pins on random boards that don't have any relevance to the topic, that definitely can be floating in isolation. And big mistake, if you pin your pins to Pinterest and they don't have a board, they are definitely floating in isolation. Let's move on to examples of a content creator or a course seller specifically. So let's say you teach productivity. You might create pins for your free guides, your courses, your blog posts, your podcast episodes, all about productivity and time management. But you could also curate pins inside of your topics on workspace setups. So how do you create a really good workspace setup? Maybe you don't want to do that in your own content, but you could curate other people's content on that topic. You could curate routines for work. So morning routines, creating a lunch break routine, content creation routines. Like you could curate content on routines that support your overall productivity and time management topics. You could also curate resources and tools that support the business owner inside of their time management and productivity and routines, right? So you probably in your content talk about tools to use, things that you suggest people use in order to get the most out of their day. You could go and find those products and curate them to Pinterest boards. We're going to talk about additional monetization a little bit later in this video, but you could definitely curate these things and not have to create all of that yourself. Because let's be honest, these are things that your audience is already searching for, they already have a pain point for, and they already love these topics, and they coincide with what you're already talking about. That way, your brand isn't just only time management hacks for busy moms with 12 kids. It is also like all the other things in her day that she might need that feed into those topics. Okay, I have an example for you. So I'm obviously a Pinterest marketer. I run this YouTube channel. I have my education wing of my business. I have the agency wing of my business. But I don't talk about blogging a whole lot, even though I do blog. And by I blog, meaning I blog on my travel blog and Sarah blogs on my Heather Farris blog because I don't have time to do these blog posts. However, in essence, my business does have a blog, right? But I don't talk about blogging because it's not something that I've really ever wanted to get deep into. I've hit on it here and there. However, I recently went to my colleague Jana Osofsky's website and saved a whole bunch of her blog posts to my blogging tips board. Now, why would I do this? Do I have an affiliate link to her program? No. Am I in her program? Yes, absolutely. It's fabulous. That's why I do it. Because I know that my audience is going to get value out of her blogging course, high leverage content, and I want people to know about it. Her free content is so valuable, you don't even need to buy anything right away. You could just implement what's in her free content, much like mine, and you would get a lot of value out of it. So I wanted to curate content around blogging that I thought was going to help my audience, so that's what I did. In other examples that I've talked about here on the channel in the past, I curate other Pinterest marketing colleagues' Pinterest pins to my own boards. Archana, who lives here in the Netherlands, I pin her stuff. Teresa Toledo, I pin her stuff. I've pinned Jana Osofsky's stuff. I've pinned Simple Pen Media's content. If it's high quality, if I like the person, basically, if I believe in what they're doing, what they're teaching, how they're teaching, then I will pin their stuff to my own boards because I, quite frankly, don't see them as competitors. Okay? Off my stool. Let's move on to an e-commerce example. So this example is pretty straightforward. Let's say you sell boho dresses and you sell pants, tops, jackets, smocks, all of those kinds of things, but you do not sell belts, shoes, hats, pretty much any accessories. You just sell the clothing, what goes from neck to ankle. Got it? In this instance, you could create boards that support your boho fashion clothing vibe for your store, and you could curate boards around those accessories that are missing. See? It's really that easy. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking. It really brings it full circle though, right? If you look at it from a holistic point of view, is you kind of become the go-to guide for all things boho fashion, and almost like a stylist, because you're kind of putting all of this together. Although I'm sure stylists would have a field day if you called yourself a stylist and you're really not. A lot of people are really sensitive about those topics lately. But this could be an area for you to curate around. Okay, let's actually talk about the monetization piece that I mentioned earlier when I was talking about curating accessories and tools and resources and all of those things. If, and this is a big if you want to go down the rabbit hole of finding affiliate links for the tools and the resources and the things that you use and love that support your topic, you could actually curate those images, those products to Pinterest boards and use your affiliate links as either product tags using the affiliate link marker, or as Pinterest pins directly to your affiliate link, calling out that it is an affiliate link, disclosing it in the description of the pin itself. This is an optional monetization strategy. You could do this on your blog. You could put together some blogs where you showcase your beautiful boho clothing from neck to ankle, and then you curate some affiliate links that pair really well with your clothing. So you could do hats, you could do shoes, you could do belts, you could do purses, you could do suitcase packing things, and the affiliate links are all of the things that are not your clothing but pair really well with it and are really high quality brands that you use and love. Curate some Pinterest pins around those things, pinning those images from their websites to your Pinterest boards, linking them to your affiliate links. And now you have tiny little affiliate strategy going. But honestly, even without the affiliate strategy part of it, curating really does bring a holistic kind of whole picture view to your Pinterest account. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to break the overwhelm. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to go and bust your entire Pinterest account apart and start breaking out boards and creating new boards and doing all of this work that's not really going to bring you money or ROI right now. But the next time you sit down to work on your Pinterest account, if you notice some Pinterest pins on topics that are kind of in alignment with yours, but don't maybe necessarily directly compete with what you're doing, if that's something that you're afraid of, then let's just start with curating some very simple things that are kind of in parallel alignment with our businesses. Now, if you're like me and you don't have any problem with seeing your colleagues or other brands as competition, I don't personally, then you could go ahead and begin curating other people's branded items that are really good pairing with your own. Ask yourself this question when you do sit down to do this task. What does my audience search for that I don't already provide? That's your starting point. You then start building boards around those topics, adding some pins to them, and then over time, you will start to notice maybe some more views. Here's actually the whole kicker around this whole thing, is other people's pins count in your overall monthly view count. So that little view count on the front end of your Pinterest profile that so many people are obsessed with, that number is impacted when you pin other people's content. There is actually a marker inside your analytics overview where you can include only your pins to your saved domains and remove all of the pins of other people's if you want. If you want to see a true number of your own views, you can definitely do that. But if you have a colleague that you work with, if you have brands that you work with regularly, that you love, that you want to support, you can start by curating those things and then see how it feels. Just dip a little toe in and see how it goes. Now, curation and creation on Pinterest definitely result in a more fuller Pinterest marketing strategy. But if you want more content on the Pinterest marketing strategy itself and all of the different components that go into one, I have a playlist ready for you to watch here. Go watch these videos and I'll see you in those.